The stations of the cross allow us to make a pilgrimage with Jesus, to travel with him in the last hours of his life on earth. You are invited to take a few minutes now to pray here, using these stations as a way to walk by Jesus' side. Notice the people around him, the ones who despise him, the ones who help him, the ones who love him, the ones who are indifferent or barely see him. Notice his suffering. Notice his love for you, which propels him forward step by step on this journey. Let's begin by taking a moment to tell Jesus that we are here, that we are making this walk with him. Gather up your intentions, your own suffering, the pain of those you love, and unite them to Jesus' suffering as we pray these words together. Lord Jesus, have mercy on us. We are here by your side. We will stay with you as you walk.
We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you, for by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
Jesus, they have been watching you. They have seen the work you're doing, healing people who are socially unacceptable, hanging around questionable characters, eating with tax collectors and sinners. They have watched you break the rules they've made to manage God by being God in their midst. They've collected evidence, storing up the words of witnesses and building a case against you. Now they have enough. With the whole world watching, they condemn you to die. Your friends watch from a distance, helpless to change the outcome of the trial, afraid to be known as followers of you. Jesus, we are here for you. When we suffer the judgment of others, help us to remember that you endured judgment and condemnation for us. When others misunderstand us, help us to come to you with our hurt. When we are tempted to judge others, help us to see you in them.
Again, the high priest asked him, "Are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed One?" Jesus said, "I am, and you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of the power, and coming with the clouds of heaven." Then the high priest tore his clothes and said, "Why do we still need witnesses? You have heard his blasphemy. What is your decision?" All of them condemned him as deserving death.
Stay with me. adore you, O Christ, and we praise you, for by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
The verdict is in. You're guilty. The anger of the crowd boils over. They jeer at you, seeing your fate as a victory. The moment of drama in front of the court is over. Now the soldiers are here to take control of you. As they pull roughly at your arms and shove you along, they force you to pick up and carry your cross. The weight of it on your back is made heavier by all that it represents. The pain, suffering, and sin of the whole world resting on your shoulders. Jesus, we are here with you.
When the weight we carry is too much to bear, help us to remember that you carry that weight along with us. When we feel we are asked to shoulder burdens that are not ours, help us to come to you and share them with you. When we see others struggling with burdens too great for their strength, help us to see you in them.
Pilate said to the Jews, "Here is your king." They cried out, "Away with him! Away with him! Crucify him!" Pilate asked them, "Shall I crucify your king?" The chief priests answered, "We have no king but the emperor." Then he handed him over to them to be crucified. So they took Jesus, and carrying the cross by himself, he went out to what is called the place of the skull, which in Hebrew is called Golgotha.
Stay with me, remain here with me, watch and pray, watch and pray.
We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you, for by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
With the weight of the cross heavy on your shoulders, you make your way down the narrow, crowded streets. People press in on every side, yelling, shouting insults, reveling in your struggle. As you navigate the uneven ground and the weight of your burden, you lose your balance, stumbling forward and falling onto the ground. The whole world laughs. Jesus, we are here with you. When we suffer embarrassment in public, help us remember how you felt, falling down in front of the same crowds who once begged you to heal them. When we feel humiliated or ashamed, help us come and share our pain with you. When we see others face ridicule, help us see you in them.
If the world hates you, be aware that it hated me before it hated you. If you belong to the world would love you as its own. Because you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. Therefore, the world hates you. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you. If they kept my word, they will keep yours also.
Stay with me, remain here with me, watch and pray, watch and pray.
We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you, for by your holy cross you redeemed the world.
Although you are surrounded by people, you are completely alone. Everyone around you is against you, watching only to see your pain, just waiting for you to fall again. Suddenly, a familiar face is there by your side, part of the crowd, yet totally separate from it. Her eyes filled with love, her face streaked with tears. She sees you. She knows you. How many times did you walk by her side through these very streets, navigating their twists and turns with her protective hand? She was there when you entered the world, and she will not leave you now. It's your mother, Mary, her heart pierced with the pain you bear. Jesus, we are here with you. When we feel completely alone, help us remember that you are always with us. When we see no one to whom we can turn, help us to come to you, knowing that you have also felt alone. When we see others who are alone and struggling, help us to see you in them.
Meanwhile, standing near the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister, Mary the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing beside her, he said to his mother, "Woman, here is your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Here is your mother." And from that hour the disciple took her into his own home.
We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you, for by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
Seeing your mother, raise your spirits for a moment, but your exhausted body is giving out. You've been through so much already, and the cross is too heavy for you to manage alone. Frustrated with your lack of progress, the soldiers grab someone from the crowd, forcing him out into the street with you. "You," they yell at him, "carry the cross." As your eyes meet his, you see fear, but also pity, and you're no longer alone with your burden. Jesus, we are here with you. When we are reluctant to accept assistance from others, help us remember that even you needed someone's help to bear your burden. When we see no source of help, help us come to you with our struggles. When we see others stepping up in our community to share the load, help us to see you in them.
They compelled a passerby who was coming in from the country to carry his cross. It was Simon of Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus. Then they brought Jesus to the place called Golgotha, which means the place of a skull.
We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you, for by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
In the seemingly unending walk, you keep your eyes down, focusing on putting one foot in front of the other. The crowd presses in, their voices roaring in your ears. What are they saying? That you are weak? That you deserve what you are getting? That you can't even carry your own cross? As tears, blood, and sweat mingle on your face, stinging your eyes, someone gently touches your arm. You look up into the face of a woman holding a clean, soft cloth in her hands. Stepping deftly into your path, she gently wipes your face, her eyes full of compassion. Somehow you feel you can go on again. Jesus, we are here with you. When the suffering of those around us seems overwhelming, help us remember that the smallest acts can transform the experience of others. When we are in unbearable pain, help us come to you for care and comfort. When we see others struggling to keep going, help us see you in them.
Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you?" And the king will answer them, "Truly, I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these, who are members of my family, you did it to me."
Stay with me.
adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. For by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
Hours have passed, or has it been days? You only know that you've been walking forever. Even without the weight of the cross, you are weighed down with sorrow and pain and with the suffering and sin of every human soul. The crowd continues to mock you, but you barely hear them now as you focus on trying to keep your body upright and moving forward to avoid anger and frustration of soldiers. A loose rock out of place on the street catches your foot, and your leg gives out. Almost before you realize it, you've fallen again. Jesus, we are here with you. When we seem to fail over and over, no matter how hard we try, help us to remember you in this moment, falling again. When we feel we can't get up and keep going, help us to come to you for strength. When we see others who can't go on under the weight of their circumstances, help us to see you in them.
I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax. It is melted within my breast. My mouth is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue sticks to my jaws. You lay me in the dust of death.
Stay with me, remain here with me, watch and pray, watch and pray.
Adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. For by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
The cruelty of the crowd is incredible. How much pleasure can they get from seeing a condemned man struggling to stay upright, too weak even to walk steadily, yet they press in, hungry for more, delighting in your pain. Over somewhere on your right, you sense a change in the crowd, more softness, less anger. You look up to see a group of women following along your path, bearing witness to your struggle, crying as they walk alongside you. Do they know your mother? Do they have sons of their own? They seem at a loss to help you, but they watch your journey with anguish and sadness. Jesus, we are here with you. When the world treats us cruelly, help us remember how you felt when everyone turned against you. When you feel alone and afraid, help us come to you for support and understanding. When you see others who are cast aside, help us to see you in them.
A great number of people followed him, and amongst them were women, who were beating their breasts and wailing for him. But Jesus turned to them and said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children."
Stay with me, remain here with me, watch and pray, watch and pray.
We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. For by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
By now, your physical strength is gone. You've been awake for so long. Your body, deprived of food and drink and subjected to torture and trial, is giving out. The inevitability of your death presses down on your mind and heart. Your legs tremble under you, barely able to support your own weight. And even though there's nothing in your path now to trip you, you can't keep your footing. You fall again onto the street, provoking the anger of the soldiers. Jesus, we are here with you. When we grow impatient with ourselves in times of struggle, help us remember this third fall and how hard it must have felt to get back up. When we are exhausted to the point of giving up, help us to come to you for rest. When we see others struggling to move forward in life, help us to see you in them.
Surely he has borne our infirmities and carried our diseases, yet we accounted him stricken, struck down by God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the punishment that made us whole, and by his bruises we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have all turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all.
Stay with me, remain here with me. Watch and pray. Watch and pray.
We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. For by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
In your ministry, you poured out your teaching and healing on these people who now surround you with taunts and shouts. Now you bear all of their suffering, pain, and sin, as well as your own suffering as you walk to your death. What else can they take from you? Yet somehow it's not enough. Maybe they want souvenirs to remember this day, something of yours to keep. Maybe they just see an opportunity for adding to their own wealth in a small way. Maybe they just want to humiliate you even further. They argue over your clothes, casting lots to decide who gets your robe. Jesus, we are here with you. When we have been emptied out for the sake of others, help us remember how you gave everything for us. When we have nothing left to give, help us come to you to fill us. When we see others who have lost everything, help us to see you in them.
They offered him wine to drink, mixed with gall, but when he tasted it, he would not drink it. And when they had crucified him, they divided his clothes among themselves by casting lots.
Stay with me, remain here with me. Watch and pray. Watch and pray.
We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you, for by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
The hour has come. The soldiers roughly place your weary, wounded body on the cross and begin driving in the nails that will hold you there. The physical pain of the nails in your flesh is excruciating, but the pain of the suffering of the whole world is even more intense. As they raise up the cross, in view of the crowd, you appear as a bridge between heaven and earth. No human being has ever suffered more than you've suffered in this moment. Jesus, we are here with you. When we must endure intense pain, help us remember the pain you endured for us. When we are overwhelmed by our suffering, help us to come to you for help in bearing it. When we see others who are in pain, help us to see you in them.
2 others also who were criminals were led away to be put to death with him. When they came to the place that is called the Skull, they crucified Jesus there with the criminals, one on his right and one on his left. Then Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing.
Stay with me, remain here with me. Watch and pray. Watch and pray.
We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you, for by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
You have endured so much. You have been betrayed, arrested, tortured, abused, shouted at, and derided. Your broken body has borne everything they have put upon you. Your broken heart has held all the sorrows of every person, past, present, and future. In this moment, you put your spirit into your Father's hands as you declare, "It is finished." Jesus, we are here with you. Let us pause for a moment in silent prayer.
It was now about noon, and darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon, while the sun's light failed, and the curtain of the temple was torn in two. Then Jesus, crying with a loud voice, said, "Father, into your hands I commend my spirit." Having said this, he breathed his last.
We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
Your spirit has left your body and returned to your Father. Your earthly life is over. You have given everything for us. As a small way of taking care of you now, Joseph of Arimathea comes to claim your body. It is not enough to repay all you did, but it is something that he can do.
Jesus, we are here with you. When we feel that we have nothing left to give, help us remember that you gave everything for us. When we are empty, help us come to you to fill us. When we see others who have sacrificed so much, help us to see you in them.
But when they came to Jesus and saw that he was already dead, they did not break his legs. Instead, one of the soldiers pierced his side with a spear, and at once blood and water came out. After these things, Joseph of Arimathea, who was a disciple of Jesus, through a secret one because of his fear of the Jews, asked Pilate to let him take away the body of Jesus. Pilate gave him permission, so he came and removed his body.
We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you, for by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
Joseph takes your body to his own tomb, because you have no tomb of your own. You walked the earth for 33 years as the ultimate act of self-sacrifice, and at the end of your life, you have nothing to call your own, not even a place to be buried. Yet the hearts of those who you touched in your teaching, healing, and service will always be yours. Our hearts are yours too. Jesus, we are here with you. When we grieve for those we have lost, help us remember the grief of your disciples and your mother as they buried you. When we struggle with loss and grief, help us to come to you for hope. When we see others who are suffering, help us to see you in them.
So Joseph took the body and wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn in the rock. He then rolled a great stone to the door of the tomb and went away.
Jesus, we are here with you. Your story is our story. Our suffering is your suffering. We are witnesses to all these things, to your pain, to your death, but most of all, to your love for us. Our world, our country, our community, and our families have suffered many things this year. Our pain is very real. Sometimes it feels overwhelming. Sometimes it feels like we can't bear even one more obstacle. or difficulty or loss. As we remember the last moments of your life in our prayer, help us to come to you with the struggles of our own lives and to unite them with your suffering. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on us and on the whole world.